Welcome, Lina, to the third episode of Paradiso Talks. We are glad to have you here.
Hello,
Sorry
Rada.
about
Thank you
the
for having me here.
sorry about like the scheduling thingy.
I'm glad we
It
could
was
finally work it out.
yeah. Okay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good as well. How are your mental state after the midterms?
I'm trying to keep up with everything, with all my studies, the assignments that I haven't done, but I think it's going well. It's going pretty well.
Okay, great. So, what classes do you have for this semester?
This semester, I'm studying international. I'm majoring in international studies, so
Okay.
I'm taking some major classes, and I'm trying to see if I could take, if I could study a minor,
hmm
with my major.
So you are studying international studies for now,
Mhm.
and have you declared that or not?
My minor, no, not yet, but I am taking an introduction to law class,
Yeah.
as well as a management class.
hmm
So I'm like trying to see if I could, if law suits me better, or if I could like go and study like and have a minor in business.
Okay,
So
and
we'll
how
see.
is IS going for you so far?
I think it's going pretty well,
Yeah.
especially after like I do realize that it is the right major for me.
Okay. So yeah, so you were majoring in architecture before in the University of Sulaimania?
I was studying architecture in the University of Suleimania for a year.
Yeah.
And the first semester of that was on campus, was everything was fully on campus. And then when COVID hit, we had to switch back to online. And because engineering and architecture, especially during the first year, everything is more practical,
Okay.
and we couldn't attend the university halls or anything, so we had to do everything online, which was pretty difficult, but we managed to do it.
Yeah, so you have been through online with AUIS as well, right? Did you take any online classes in AUIS?
Yes.
So which
Yes.
one do you think is better? Sulaimania, the University of Sulaimania or AUIS when it comes to online?
When it comes to online, I would say that depends on the resources and the experience of the faculty and the professors. Um, I do think that AUIS did a, a way better job than the University of Suli, because University of Suli, they needed more time to adapt to the
Mm-hmm.
changes,
Yeah.
and for students to get used to everything and get over their technical problems, because we did have a lot of issues facing us with the students as well as with the professors and the lecturers and everything. I think AUIS managed to do a better job at that.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I remember when we started with online, it was like we went back home over the weekend and we started like Tuesday from next week. So it was pretty fast, like how they adapted to everything. And I
Yeah.
remember the first class that I had online, it was with Miss Haley. It was about English reading 100, yeah. And she had like a live on Facebook.
Mhm.
She had students joining in and some were making jokes, and it was weird times. It was weird times, yeah.
Well, it did take a lot more time than just a week
No,
or
no,
two.
for iOS, it's only a few days. Like, it wasn't
Yeah,
even a
it took
week.
a lot longer than that. It wasn't just because of the technical difficulties. It was because some of the students were not provided with, like, did not have a good internet at home, or did not have like good devices that they could manage to study on properly. So I do think that many other things affected the way uh, that students in the university approached the online learning.
Yeah. And do you think it ever worked, like the online teaching?
It could work for more classes that are theoretical, but with
Mm,
engineering and with architecture especially, things are more practical, and you have to be um, in class, and you have to like get face to face and like personal feedback from your professors.
yeah,
So
I mean, like,
that's
we had like practical classes that were online with like labs and stuff in our first semester there. And yeah, it was so unnatural to do these things online. Like, we had to use simulators and stuff like that. And also, like, for theoretical classes, when you don't get the full experience like with online,
of
like staring
course,
at
of
screen
course.
is it's not the best thing to do by any time, and it's not going to. be the college experience that you need to go through in order to learn and do stuff. Yeah.
I think a big part of learning is to have that experience of
Yeah.
meeting new people, going to new places, being in a different environment in general. So it's kind of it gets a bit more difficult over time if you like keep doing everything online and from home and on your computer, and it takes away a lot of that, as how you mentioned, university experience.
Yeah, so you were at University of Sulaimania as an architect and you changed for AUIS as an IS student. How did that happen?
So for architecture, I've always admired, like when traveling, when going to places, I've always admired how buildings were made and how certain things were in their places. So that really made me interested in studying architecture. But when you actually go and study something academically,
Yeah, it's
um,
different than what you
it's
think, yeah.
very different.
Yeah.
Yes, I still love architecture. I still love buildings, and I've learned a lot in my first year. But I did realize that social science is a better fit for me overall for studies and to something that I would do in my career.
Okay, so let's change to your childhood. How was that? Like, what do you remember? What are the things that affected you the most?
Um, well, to be honest, I don't remember much of my childhood for some reason. Like I do know that there are gaps, but I also know that I had like pretty normal childhood. Like
Yeah,
as any girl, I grew up in Sully. I've lived here with my parents. I've always been attached to my family a lot, especially my grandmother, my grandfather's sister. Let's say we were all living together, and I was always spending time with them. I still am, and I think that they had a big part in how I am today, and like what I like and what I don't like, and how I act in like day-to-day basis.
so where did your passion for movies and series started? And like, what is the earliest memory you have?
So this goes back to my childhood, of
Yeah,
course, and like the time I spent with my family. I was just talking about this the other day, actually last night with a friend. For as long as I can remember, we used to have like these things, the DVD players,
yeah,
and all of us like used to have one at home. And I remember my dad every time new movies would come out,
yeah.
he would bring new CDs, and we would spend like Fridays. Fridays were like
Movie nights.
movie nights
Yeah,
and movie days, and we
yeah,
would sit and watch different kinds of movies all day. So I remember like every week, every other week, new movies would come out, and my dad would used to like bring all of them, and we would all just sit down as a family and watch everything together.
yeah. I mean, good
So
job. That's the best thing you can do for your family by now. Yeah. And
yeah, so
what do you remember from these movies? Like, do you remember specific movies that you watched during that time?
um well, one of the movies that I very specifically remember, and is still one of my favorite movies, is White Chicks.
Okay.
So my dad, he used to love that movie, and like are you looking it up right
Yeah,
now? Have
it's
you
a
seen
comedy
it?
crime. No.
It's such a good movie, and it's such a classic.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
so
I have. Yeah, I think I have. Yeah.
you probably have.
Yeah.
Um, he even like used to our story times or bedtime stories
Yeah.
was about this movie, and several different movies, of course, but this
Yeah.
is the one that kind of like it came to my mind right away.
Yeah.
I still watch it from time to time. It's a comfort movie of mine,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah. So let's go back to like how your childhood was.
So I did have a pretty good childhood. Like all I remember was I was spending a lot of time with my family, especially with my grandma and my mother's aunt, who was, they were living together. I was spending most of my time with them, and yeah, like all I remember was I was going to school, and they were teaching me at school. Like members of my family were teachers at that school. Um, I used to come home, go out with friends, and it was pretty good. And then I remember in 2009, the cinema, like the city cinema, it opened up.
2009.
I think it was 2009, if I'm not
That's pretty
mistaken.
cool. We didn't have cinema in Basra till 2017.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember like the first movie we watched, like we went to watch 2012, the movie about the end of
Oh,
the
the end of the
world.
world.
I
Yeah,
think that was 2009, right?
let
It
me
came out
check.
in
Let me see. Because I've seen it for the first time in MBC2 in 2012. I don't know when it was released. Let me check that. Yeah, it's 2009. Correct.
2009. So yes, that was like the first movie they played, and I remember I went there with my mom, my dad, my sister. Like she's younger than me, but like she's okay. I have two sisters. One of them is older. How do I explain this? Okay, I have two sisters. Like they're both younger than me, but like the one who's older,
Older.
like my second sister.
Okay, the oldest
You
youngest
get the
sister.
point.
Yeah.
We all went there and we watched that movie together, and it was such an I don't
Horrifying
know.
experience.
Yes, seeing the end of the world, and now we're like way past that. It's 10 years after 2012, and a lot of things have changed. And I think that's one of my earliest memories
Yeah, I
that I
remember
have.
when it came out in 2012, they made this huge advertisement about like
Mm-hmm.
how the Maya predicted the end of the world on the
Yeah,
12th day in the 12th month of
and
2012.
then I remember very well on that day, like it was December something.
Yeah,
twen-
December 12th, 2012.
It was it was
It
a
was raining.
very very
Scary day. It was raining. Was it raining here as well?
no,
Yeah, in Basra it was raining.
really.
Yeah,
No,
there
I
was thunder
remember
and
it was like a very, very normal day, and I was like, "Is this the end of the world? Is this it?" And I was waiting like any second, for something to happen. But like the day went out pretty well,
yeah.
and
So you were pretty disappointed.
yeah, I did feel a bit disappointed to be
Yeah.
honest. But yeah, so like I grew up watching movies with my dad, so I am familiar with a lot of the movies that were coming out at that time before 2009 and after 2009. I mean, he still does that, but it's different. Like we have Netflix now, we have other like
Streaming
others.
platforms, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and like about this movie again, like 2012, we watched it. Also, I watched it with my family,
Hmm.
and it was like a pretty cool experience to see how the world would end. And like
Yeah.
we are going to spoil the movie for now. It ends with like how they created this ship, which is kind of a metaphor to how Noah saved the world with a
Hmm.
ship, and only the rich people would get through. Which seems a very realistic thing by now standards, about like how the rich would only survive the emerald.
And I remember specifically, like there was this scene in the movie. The people like they were. It looked like that they were going on a vacation and they were looking around at the ship and everything was provided for them. And looking looking back at that, it's kind of sad to see that only like it's not very inclusive for everyone to survive.
I mean, can we save everyone on one ship?
It's not possible, but
Yeah.
it's also like not fair.
Mm.
But it's also fair in a way because they do have a lot of money uh
Yeah, but I think they
to pay for
designed it in a
staying
way like
alive.
to only take few samples of everyone,
Hmm.
so they can repopulate Earth after
Yeah,
everything.
that didn't happen.
Yeah. It was also that one funny scene about like how the Queen of England was saving her dogs. She walked into the ship with her
I don't
dogs.
remember that
Yeah, I
scene.
remember that scene very well. She came out of the plane and she had like her dogs and everything, and she
Yeah.
did. There was like also this girl who didn't get it was a green card or something like about the ticket to the ship,
Hmm.
and like she wanted to get it from this guy, but he said no. But then at the end, she got on the ship and he didn't, so she gave him the middle finger, and the ship sailed away. Yeah,
I
that was.
actually don't
I think
remember
that
that
was the
scene.
first time that I've seen the middle finger in my life. 2012.
Really?
Yeah, it was in front of my dad. It was very weird. Yeah.
I remember there was this. this guy with what do they call it? The thing they wear in Saudi Arabia, the agal and like
yeah,
the
Gal Dishdasha,
dishdasha,
yeah.
and I remember that very
Yeah,
specifically.
of
And it
course they
looked
are
like he
going
was
to
going
bring.
on a vacation, and he
Yeah,
was happy, and he was smiling, and he was
yeah,
looking out around the ship.
yeah. Of course they can afford the tickets, of course. Yeah. Okay, so what other like cinema related movies do you remember from that time?
um,
So this is 2009. What after?
yeah, I remember Inception.
So you saw it in the cinema? Inception, did you see it at the cinema?
No,
Oh, okay.
I watched it with my family. I've seen that movie a couple of times. I still don't get the ending. I still can't figure it out.
Yeah,
I don't want to spoil the movie.
you can. I mean, we can put like spoiler alert thing and you can talk
Yeah,
about.
okay. I don't remember if like that last scene
Yeah,
is like
a
is
dream or not.
yeah.
Yeah, it is like kind of an open ending. They put it there to
But isn't
keep.
that like how it is with all of Christopher Nolan's movies?
Mm. I mean, like
Some of
some of them had like a very clear ending, like
yeah.
the Prestige. We find out. Have you seen the Prestige?
I
It's
don't
about
remember.
the two magicians
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
who
I've heard of it.
compete
I've
and
heard of it.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the Prestige and the Batman trilogy, I think we get like a clear ending. But like with even with Interstellar, we have a
Yeah,
clear
yeah,
ending.
it did have a
But
pretty clear ending.
Inception, it was one of those who had like an open ended. But I've seen like video theories about like how they explained it very well about like how it's not a dream
Hmm.
because like I don't know they interpreted how the thingy that was spinning
Yeah.
in a way that's not how it does that in the real world. So yeah, so it's not a dream.
Well,
Hopefully.
generally, I don't like it when movies have open endings
Mm.
because it keeps the thought like it's this thing that in my brain that I keep thinking about it, and it does not leave me alone until I figure it out, and it's pretty hard because like you don't know what the ending is and you don't know how things end.
It's also like a way for like some people does it because like it adds suspense and talk about the movie. But I think like
Yeah,
a lot of authors when come to the ending, like they are afraid to choose how it's going to end.
that
It's like when you
yeah
end your thesis or essay with like an open-ended question. It's because you haven't figured things out. So yeah,
that
yeah, like they
yeah
keep it open and hope for the best instead of choosing one thing that would either make people love it or hate it.
it's also the thought that like okay, if you end it in a certain way that you might disappoint uh, a group of people. If you end
Yeah,
it in a different way, you
yeah,
might
but you are
disappoint.
going to still do that if you keep it an open-ended. So just pick something
Well, we can leave that question to the directors themselves, and
to answer. Okay,
yeah.
so afterwards, like after Inception, what 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 is the movie that stuck with you after 2012 by now? Yeah.
Was Grown Ups? Did that movie come out in 2012?
I think it was earlier. Let
I
me check.
think yeah, that was one of the movies that I watched. Most of the movies that I've seen them with my dad
Yeah.
or with my family because he
Yeah,
was into a
the
lot of
first
movies.
one came in 2010, the second one 2013.
Yeah, I remember Jonah Hex.
Yeah,
We saw that at the cinema.
yeah. That's so
Uh,
cool. Like I remember. Do you remember your first like was 2012 your first like cinema experience or?
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, you never forget these.
No,
Yeah,
no, no, no.
you never do. Like I remember my first time. It was like Cars 2.
Yeah,
It was back in Jordan because we didn't have any
yeah.
cinema, and it was like this cool thing when you get in like into a closed dark room where you
Mhm.
are isolated from the world.
Yeah.
Like I've heard this quote about like how when you are in the cinema, it's very similar to when you are in your mother's womb. You can't, you are detached from
That's
everything,
very
and
interesting.
you are only like getting the full picture on this big screen with
But
these
that
sounds.
only works if you're um as for example, the reason why I love watching movies with my dad is because we just focus on the movies. But
No
when I
side talk.
yes. So
That's
when
the
I go
best.
with
Same
friends
for
or
me.
when I see other people going with their friends and they're taking pictures and they're talking throughout the
They have to
movie,
nowadays. They have to. It's so
it's
annoying.
like you can't you like you have to focus on the movies. You can't ask
Exactly.
questions. You
Exactly.
can't you
Leave
can't
that after the movie. You can do all of
exactly.
that
That's
after the
what
movie.
that's for.
Yeah,
And the feeling when you step into like the cinema hall and when you get your popcorn and
yeah,
your
it's a
juice and
sensational
everything,
experience.
I
Yeah,
still have that same feeling when I step into it.
yeah, it's the best. Like in 2017 when the movie theater opened in Basra, I went there for 32 or 34 times in just 1 year.
And you count it each
Yeah, yeah,
time?
I have a list. Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah. So like by the end of the year, by the end of 2017, like even I got in contact with the cinema and
Hmm.
they were really impressed about like how many times I came to the cinema. So they
Yeah.
gave me a tour. They gave me like free tickets, free figurines. Yeah, that
Oh,
was so
that's
cool.
really nice.
Yeah, that was 2017. I think it was like the year that I watched the most movies at the cinema.
Mhm.
I used to like collect all my allowance and I would go there like to watch two movies in 1 day. So
Oh, I
because like
think we did that once.
really,
Yeah.
the most I got was three movies in 1 day at the cinema.
How can you keep up?
Yeah, so this is how you do it. So back at the time, I would collect my allowance for the week.
Mhm.
I wouldn't spend anything,
Yeah.
and if I do that for 2 weeks, because like the cinema used to be far away, and I don't have a car, so I have to go by
Hmm.
taxi or by public transportation, and I have to pay for the tickets, which are
Yeah.
not very expensive, which are not very cheap, and all my food and stuff. So it would cost about like I don't know, 25 to 30, which is in dollars around 20 $25, something like this, like
For
for
one
everything.
movie?
No, no, for
Ah, for
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would go there after school, and I would have my lunch, and I would watch the first movie, then go back and take a rest, and then start my second one. And it was like this whole day trip where I go in the afternoon and come back
Hmm.
at 6 or 7. And if I watch like three, that's what I one time did. It would be like around 8 or 9 where I finish. That was so cool. But then like I had my friend shout out to Muhammad. We then started doing this trip together, so I'm not alone watching these two movies. I'm with a
Hmm.
friend.
Hmm.
That was so cool. We did that for a while, and yeah, life changed.
Well, we did that once.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I only remember one of the movies, which it was one of Liam.
Liam
How
Neeson.
how do I
Liam
pronounce
Neeson. Yeah,
Liam Neeson?
yeah.
It
Was it
was
Taken or
no, 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 but it was similar. It was very similar.
yeah? It's Taken, not Taken. Yeah,
It's Taken.
yeah.
Taken is the
The game. Yeah,
the video game.
yeah,
It was one of his movies, and I remember by the time that we finished the second movie, we were out of things to say. We just didn't say anything.
yeah,
We went and we got into a car, then we went back home. We didn't talk about the movies, none of them. We were
yeah.
so tired. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
the first one is my favorite. I remember seeing it, I don't know, 2010, 11, something like this. They showed it on TV, and it is a pretty cool movie, and the story is really interesting about
Taken.
yeah,
Hmm.
about like how he gets his daughter kidnapped after she arrives at this new university.
Yeah, but a lot of his movies I've noticed that are very similar type.
Yeah,
He has the same role in
most of them,
um
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's the same for like Bruce Willis. Do you know him? The bald guy in Red and in I don't know other movies.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
they,
yeah, yeah.
like Sylvester Stallone, or like
Hmm.
they, they have like this huge hit, so they keep repeating the same movie over and over again just
Yeah,
to make money. Yeah,
but like it does suit him,
yeah,
the character.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, if people love it and they are still paying, so yeah, good for him.
Yeah,
Yeah. So then what happened? Like after 2012, let's say.
yeah. It has stayed the same.
Yeah.
Then like that is like the beginning of my interest in movies. I have seen other movies here and there for a
Yeah.
while, and then I completely stopped watching movies and I got into watching more TV shows and
Yeah.
series. But then I do still love watching movies.
So let's end it with like your favorite like movies, then we can move to shows like a list, or
Oh,
do you have one
that's a
particular
very,
in mind?
I don't think I have a very particular movie in mind, but
Like top three then?
top three. Um, I would say the movies that I remember the most,
Yeah,
and like movies that I can still go back to and watch and have the same fun
yeah,
as I did. That would be White Chicks for sure.
yeah.
As I mentioned, Inception.
Okay.
There are a lot of other. Oh, this one movie. What's it called?
Who does it start? What's the story?
It's one of Tarantino's movies.
Pulp Fiction, Django, uh, Once
I
Upon a
love
Time, Glorious
uh,
Bastards.
Inglourious
Yeah,
Bastards.
I love
I
that one as
love
well.
them. I love Tarantino's movies.
Yeah,
It is he. I think he's gonna come out with
his final movie.
his final
Yeah,
movie soon.
he's married by now. Do you know that?
Hmm?
He got married, I think, last year.
Really,
Yeah,
I did not know
yeah,
that.
and I think they are expecting or they have a child by now.
Mm. And I love seeing Tarantino in his own movies.
Yeah,
Like he has this scene in Pulp Fiction.
yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, about the coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah, he does that. It's pretty cool to show up
and
in your
like the
movies.
bed sheets. He's
Yeah,
like, okay, these bed sheets they're pretty special to me. I think they were gifts from
yeah, I think yeah.
grandparents or his wife.
I don't remember. Yeah, but I remember the
And
coffee
I
scene. Yeah,
remember that like they only had like what 30 minutes, 45 minutes to do something like to clean up the body.
yeah,
Spoiler alert.
yeah.
And the guy that they
I mean, if you haven't
brought
seen Pulp Fiction by now, I don't know what's wrong with you. But yeah,
and everything is going so I know that they're in a rush and they need to get things done,
yeah.
but then the guy's like, oh, go do this first and then go do that, and they waste so much time and it's very stressful. But like
Yeah,
that's one of the things that makes the movie so
yeah. I
special.
mean, when you get into the cleaning body system, it's not like an easy job to do.
And
You
it
have,
is a lot of work. That car was very like it was.
yeah, like talking from experience, like digging up and killing somebody. It's pretty devastating job to do. Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with saying that? Yeah, I mean, we all killed someone one day or another. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's move to TV shows and
Okay.
let's go with The Office.
That's.
That's
I
why
think
that's why
everyone.
you are here.
Yes, I think everyone knows that by this point that I love watching The Office. I've
Yeah,
seen it many, many times, and
yeah,
I still go back and watch like clips here and there, and I use The Office references all the time
yeah,
with everything, and I love everyone who gets my references
yeah. That's what she said.
and
But yeah,
jokes.
yeah. So how did it started? Like,
I think it was playing on NBC4 for a while.
really? I didn't catch that back then.
It was I I saw it on TV, so
Yeah,
I don't know if it was NBC4. I think there was this Fox channel.
yeah.
It was,
On TV. Yeah,
yeah, it was on TV, and like I've seen episodes here and there, but like the first time I actually sat down to watch it was 2 years ago. It was summer 2019. I think it was summer 2019,
okay.
and I loved it.
Yeah. Did
And
you
like,
start from the beginning?
of course,
Yeah, of course.
I loved it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I remember
Just answer this question. Have you finished the first season in one sitting, like in one watch, or did you
yep,
divide? That's how you do it.
yeah.
That's how you get hooked. Like with all the people who have like loved The Office, when I
Hmm.
asked them down, they have all watched the first season in just one sitting.
And I don't understand. Like people usually don't like the first season. They
I love
think
it.
that I love the first season,
Yeah,
right?
it's amazing.
The first two seasons, the first three seasons,
Yeah,
favorites.
yeah. It's like it got down a bit like after season 7. We all know why,
Yeah.
but yeah, the ending was pretty cool. But like the first like two episode, they have episode 2 with diversity episode,
Mm.
I think.
That's one of my
I
favorite
Yeah, it's so
episodes.
good. Yeah. So yeah, 2019 you started
I
watch
think
first season, get
yes, I
hooked.
spent
Yeah.
like half of my summer
Yeah.
watching it,
Yeah.
and then I would talk about it all the time. So then I rewatched it in our winter break
Yeah.
in 2020.
2020, yeah.
and for the third time in like our most recent winter break,
Mm,
2021.
2021. Okay.
So they have like kind of 8, 9 months gaps in between me rewatching.
And they are still making you laugh every time you see it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I still cry every time Dwight says, "Michael, you came," and then he says, "That was she said."
So, like for me, it was 2000. I think it was 18. It's either 2017 or 18. We had like our midterms, like
Hmm.
it was 10th grade. So we call them نص السنة.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I had like physics exam the next day,
yeah.
but I don't know, for some reason I just felt like just fuck it. I just sat down.
How did you start? What like?
Yeah, it has been on my list.
Hmm.
So like yeah, it was 2018. I remember that because like 2017, I watched my first sitcom, which was Friends.
Yeah,
So I started Friends, and I finished all of it, the 10 seasons with my friend Muhammad, and we were like watching 12 episodes a day.
yeah.
So we would go to school, come back, have lunch, and we would have this like watch friends party
Hmm.
where it was me and him on a phone call, and we
Yeah.
play the episode, and we watched so many. We didn't study back then. We were only watching Friends, and then like we finished it, and for the last episode, like we had this thing where I asked my mom to bake us a cake,
Yeah.
and she wrote like some Friends quotes on it. It was pretty cool,
Oh.
and we watched the finale together at my place, and then like we we didn't watch any show together, like an entire show for the
Hmm.
rest of our friendship, but we watched all episodes together for Friends. That was 2017, the end of 2017. Then 2018 started, so I said like I need a new sitcom in my life. I'm too depressed by now. So yeah, I said like we were in نص سنة. I had an exam the next morning, and I opened IMDb, and The Office first season is only 6 episodes. So
Um,
should I sleep and go to exam the next day, having a nice night of sleep, or should I start The Office? Yeah, so 3 hours later, I finished first season.
I
It
mean, and it's
was
not that many episodes,
yeah,
just
it's
six episodes,
it's six
20 minutes
episodes,
each.
so it's 2 hours. Yeah, and it was the best experience. Like I don't think I felt that with friends like ever after finishing a season. Like how we connected.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I finished first season. I go to exam next day, and as soon as I come back, it's second season already. It's amazing. Like the jokes are on point. You laugh every.
And sometimes the jokes are so subtle.
Yeah, yeah, they
Like,
are. And there's no laugh track. So
no,
if
no,
you don't
no.
get the joke, like there is no pressure for you to get it, or you feel
Yeah.
disappointed because like you are not getting it. If you don't laugh, you don't laugh. There is no laugh tracks.
And have you noticed, like, each time, like, after watching it over and over, like, you discover new jokes?
Yeah,
You notice new stuff
yeah,
that
yeah,
you
yeah.
haven't
It
noticed
it
before.
it always keeps surprising you. Like you never get bored with it.
Yeah.
Never. Like even after my fourth watch, it's still the same.
Are you
So,
on
huh? Yeah, I've completed the series 4 times. Yeah, and I'm looking back to starting it again.
your?
So then, like, I stayed put. I finished exam, and my entire break was the office. I finished it, I think, in 1 week or 10 days, something like this. The first time.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that
The
was my
entire show?
the entire show.
Wow.
Yeah, when I get hooked to a series, like I finished How I Met Your Mother in 20 days, and
Oh,
it's nice.
I did not like that.
Oh, let's keep The Office, and then we
Yeah,
can move.
okay.
So I finish it, and by the time it ends, like you get into this like really nice, depressing state of mind when you finish The Office because the ending is so sad and beautiful at the same time. Because it's so sad.
I mean, it's the end. You kind of expect it to go that way,
Yeah,
like with Jim and Pam, with Dwight and Angela, and with
yeah.
everyone else. I just wish Michael had more screen time in the final
I mean, it's
episode.
really unfortunate that they let him go by season 7. Like, the show really stunk for a while after he left. Like with D'Angelo, it was. Eh,
Really?
I hate D'Angelo.
I love
I
D'Angelo.
I I hope that his accident happened sooner, and I hope he
Re
died.
Why?
I even hope that the actor died in real life. It's, he's such a bad character. Like, why did they think that they can replace Michael
He's
Scott?
just the right amount of annoying. Like
No, he's so much annoying. He's not the right amount.
I don't
I
know. I
hate
loved him.
D'Angelo. I hate Robert California.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I hate
No, James Spader,
Robert California.
Robert
Really,
California.
I
Okay.
hate the guy. He's the worst.
You know, I loved
Like, you just tell me by now that you loved, like, what's his name? The African American dude who came in for a few seasons.
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. Did you love him as well?
No,
Yeah,
not him.
yeah,
But I loved Robert California. I loved him so much that I looked him up,
yeah,
and he was act like the actor James Spader. He was
yeah,
acting in this other
yeah.
TV
The
show,
Blacklist, right?
The Blacklist. I loved The
I haven't
Blacklist.
started yet. Is it good?
It is amazing.
Yeah.
That's also one of my
Do
favorite
you know
shows.
that there is a deleted scene in one of, like, Robert California where he asks out, like, Jim and Pam for a threesome?
I think I've heard of it, but I haven't seen the scene
Yeah,
myself.
it's a deleted
I've
scene.
seen it on Facebook posts.
Yeah, it's so cool. But I still hate the
Uh,
character.
I loved him. Let's
Like
agree to disagree, honestly, because
okay, okay, okay.
but
So
why did you hate him?
Robert California,
Hmm.
he's just annoying.
He has charisma,
What
and
charisma? He's stupid. He's stupid.
he's really smart.
No, he's stupid.
He's really
He's
smart.
way up into his ass, yani.
This يخوش به.
What?
Like good for him.
Yeah.
And that one Halloween episodes,
Yeah.
he goes around and talks to everyone,
Yeah.
and then by the end of the episode, he makes this story
Yeah.
and combines everyone's worst fear into one story.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yet, how can you not love him after that scene
I hate him
and that?
still. He's so annoying. Like, I get why they added him. They needed to add so much just to replace the
Mm-hmm.
presence of the great Michael Scott. But for me, it never got. I didn't get over it. Like, the rest of season 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
Like, I still watch them, but it's not like when I open an episode and I know Michael Scott is in it.
That at first that's what I used to think too, but then it's different. Yani it's the last two seasons are like they may be different from the first few,
Yeah, they added so many new
but
characters.
yeah,
The
there's
Sabre
yeah.
thing, the
What was that? Nelly?
yeah,
I
Nelly,
did not like
Catherine. I
Nelly.
don't know, Catherine was way back. Yeah, they added Nelly. Nelly, she's the British one, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Robert California, and what's that other CEO? The CEO of Sabre?
Saber. That was Joe.
Yeah, Joe. They added so much, and it was very obvious that they were trying to replace something. They wanted to add new
It
things too.
of course, Michael was the
Yeah,
heart of the
of
show.
the show. And like when Jim is like in his office and he figures out that he's moving this day, it makes my
Hmm.
heart ache every time. He
That
tells him like how he's the best boss that
the
he
best
ever
boss I've
had.
ever had.
It's so sad.
But did your impressions change on Dwight?
I love
The
Dwight.
first two seasons, I hated Dwight. Like not the first two times I watched the show.
Like, the more that I get older, I appreciate Dwight presence and how
Exactly,
it's important.
exactly, and just the way he is.
Yeah. And do you know about the office ladies?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so the actresses of
yeah.
Angela and Pam started this podcast, and they talk about, like, the behind the scenes of every episode in the
Hmm.
show, and they talked about like how Dunder Mifflin really didn't appreciate Dwight until the end of the show. I mean, he was like the best employee that you can have. He
Exactly.
like literally was fighting for sales, and uh, he went this one episode against the website. he made a challenge with himself against AI,
That
and
was pretty funny.
it was so funny. And by the end, when he lost, and Jim and Pam did this very cute
I
move, and they
love
sent
I
him.
love how considerate Jim and Pam were
Yeah,
during the show.
they sent him a message like it was a good competition, and you were ever the
You
opponent.
were the
And this
superior
stuff like
being.
means so much for him.
Hmm.
Like he takes this job way, way too seriously.
Like he can be an idiot sometimes. Let's
He
not.
is an idiot, but as he says, like I would think what an idiot would do, and I wouldn't do it. Yeah, he's the best. Like they gave him the best ending. Like the entire show ending, I love it.
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
they did.
very
Yeah,
satisfactory.
yeah, they did well with all the characters.
Hmm.
Like for the first time, like when I remember, like I had this like I was wondering like why did they add like this fight between Jim and Pam? But now like as I'm older and I'm seeing the show, it was so realistic to add that into the story.
Hmm.
It couldn't have been just like this perfect thing that. So yeah, when Jim started like this new business in Florida
Yeah,
was or California,
Florida.
yeah, about like sports and stuff,
Hmm.
and he was like moving there all the time, and she had this huge problem because now she has to work and take care of the family and take care of
Yeah.
the house, and she was alone doing all of that, where he was like in Florida chasing his dream. But to him, it made sense because in the beginning of the relationship, she left him and went to New York
Hmm.
to study like design and stuff. But yeah, like when I see it, like this is such a realistic thing
Yeah.
to add. Like it's I don't know. Like after the first time, I hated it. Like why did you ruin their perfect relationship and what? But there is no such thing. Uh,
No, no.
yes, that added so much to me. Like after I realized why they did it, it's so amazing. And when she was like talking to him, and then she started crying, that gets me every time.
And I do understand both Jim and Pam. Like Pam was comfortable
Yeah,
in Scranton, and she didn't want to lose what she had there. Like
yeah,
she was fine
yeah.
doing
Like for her, like
everything.
she got everything she wants. So like, why risk it?
But at the same time, when you go back to the first few seasons, you see Pam and like it's yeah, she can do more. She could do better than just be a receptionist
Yeah,
and working in an office in a
yeah.
smaller
But I think
city.
like her confidence levels really dropped after she dropped out of New York because like she's seen like what the real game is,
Hmm.
and she doesn't think she can compete with that.
Yeah.
So
I
she
love
got
how
like
she transformed from like not, being so afraid.
yeah,
And then after that episode, when she steps over the fire thing
yeah,
and she has this breakdown and she tells everyone what she thinks. I love that for her. And then she becomes really, really confident and
yeah.
like she, in herself
Yeah, like
by the end.
all the characters in the beginning of the show were so naive.
Hmm.
Like Jim thought that he was quitting and he really disliked his job. And the first episode is like he talks about the price of a ton of paper, but why do I know too much about paper? But then he said, I know the favorite yogurt flavor for Pam and something, and he started talking about that. But yeah, like by the end of the show, everyone is so changed, and
Yeah.
it's a very nice way to end it. And the ending, oh, whenever I see the ending, I just weep and weep. It's so sad.
I just wish that Ryan, he could have done so much better.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Brian is just annoying.
I liked Ryan.
Yeah,
He was the cool guy of the office.
cool guy. Really? Yeah. So this is our favorite printer giving us some office references. Love it. Yeah,
I did think that he was the cool guy of the office.
yeah.
But I did not like
The
what
Kelly thing,
the what?
the Kelly relationship dynamic, or what?
No, no, no. Like how they, like he managed to get Jan's job,
Yeah,
and the way he just fell after that,
yeah.
I did not like what they did with his character.
Yeah, I mean, I see it because, like, I know it's very obvious for many people about like how they want like all this success and wealth, and when they reach there, they just go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you seen the Wolf of Wall Street? Yeah, it's the Leonardo DiCaprio. It's also like talks about like how when you win it all and what you do afterwards. Like if you got
Yeah,
so much money, you wouldn't stay the same guy who was like hustling in the beginning. And
yeah.
so yeah, I mean, it was very anticipated for me that he's going to fall one way or another. He's also like very naive and
He is. He
yeah,
is.
but yeah, I love The Office. I love it more like every time I
Now,
see
what
it.
do you
And
think of Andy?
Andy, yeah, there are so many Andys in the world. Yeah, family trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
His people pleasing
yeah, people
personality.
pleaser. He loves his uni too much. Yeah,
I mean, I kind of do have a little bit of Andy in me.
we all have like a little bit of the office, all of the office
Mm-hmm.
characters inside of
Mm-hmm.
us. I would think what an idiot would do, and I wouldn't do it. Yeah. I tell that to myself every morning when I wake up. Yeah,
But he did, get his he did get the job that he's
deserved and
always,
wanted.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like the characters are so well written.
Everything just worked out at the end, and everything just fell into place.
Yeah, and like after I finished the show for the first time, and I think even at the first time I knew it was like much better than Friends.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, so I finished it for the first time in 2018.
Yeah,
Then we went to Jordan, and then like sadness happened. So 12th grade,
yeah.
such a depressing time. So as soon as the sadness started, I wanted to rewatch Friends and The Office to have a conclusion about which sitcom is my favorite. So I started
You
with,
take sitcoms very seriously.
yeah, I take so many stupid things very seriously, but yeah. So I rewatched Friends, and my second time with Friends it was alright, but my first time with it was so much better. But with The Office, it's the
It it
same.
it no no no. It keeps getting better
Yeah,
after each time.
yeah. I mean, you get the jokes, and now you are repeating them with the characters as they are saying it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You are like, you know the story, so you just enjoy the details. Man, yeah, it's the best. It's the best.
It really is. I'm
Yeah,
glad there's something that we could both agree on.
yeah, we agree on a couple of other things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, yeah, I mean, like, I finished the second time, and by the second rewatch of the show, I loved it even more. And in the finale, there are like, so in 2018 when I went to Jordan, I got like the like official DVDs of the first season. So they have like some special features that are
Mm-hmm.
not in the like versions that you see online.
Yeah.
So I've seen those, and I've seen Thread Level Midnight, the full version, like not the one in the movie. There's like a full 30-minute Thread Level Midnight. But
Didn't they put that into an
yeah, it's on
episode?
it's on YouTube by now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I've
it's
seen
the
that.
entire movie. Yeah, I've seen that one. There are like these like special features when they go into a stadium and people are like saluting them and like really appreciating them.
Mm.
And I remember by that time, like I said, like I have to make something as great as this some point in my life. It's really like fascinating and motivating about like how you can create these scenes and videos and stuff that can, I don't know, like inspire kids and teenagers and people all around the world, and just
Yeah.
like a camera and a microphone and a nice story.
The show itself did have a lot of was inspired by a lot of real life stuff as well.
Yeah,
Like for
have you seen the
example,
British version, like the original Office?
I've seen a few episodes of it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's basically it's filmed from the same angles.
Yeah,
It's pretty similar. But I was gonna talk about the wedding, Jim and Pam's wedding.
yeah, I love that.
The thing that they do, the dance,
Yeah,
That was
A
actually,
YouTube video?
yes, that
Yeah,
was
I
taken
know.
from a real
YouTube
YouTube,
video.
or the parkour thing that they do.
It's amazing.
1, 2,
It's
3, go.
amazing. Yeah. So it's pretty obvious that The Office is your favorite show, right?
Mhm.
Any other show recommendations or shows that you love? So we
Other,
can wrap
yeah.
this thing up.
Other shows that I've seen and loved, as I mentioned, The Blacklist
Yeah.
with James Spader, Outlander.
Yeah, my sister recommended it to me a
It
lot.
is really, really good.
Yeah.
I love like movies and TV shows that were taken, from a book.
Yeah.
For example, there's this other movie, The Girl on the Train.
Yeah, I love that one. Have you read the book?
I read the book a few years before the movie came out. I
Okay, yeah.
didn't know that it was going to be turned into a movie, and when I heard it's that also still is one of my favorite movies. Um,
Like for me, like most of my friends know that in 2017, like in the beginning, I had like a very serious disease, so I was out of school for a month.
yeah.
I was basically in bed doing nothing, and I couldn't eat anything that had sugar or fat in it.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I started like hearing about like the Girl on the Train and how it was released,
Yeah.
and I know it had Emily Blunt, so it's a must watch. Then like I first read the book, like a family relative got it to us from the UAE, and I finished the
I
book.
got my book there too.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get the book. I keep reading it because like I have nothing better to
Hmm.
do in my life.
And the book is really good as
Yeah, it
well.
is.
Yeah. It's very
And
well written.
then I watch the movie, and it's such a nice experience. I love the book.
And
I
it's
love
like
the movie.
everything that I've imagined in my head, they captured it in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, I mean the
It's
actors.
exactly how I was thinking, how I was
Yeah,
imagining
the
all the
acting there
characters.
is was amazing.
And Emily Blunt is,
Amazing.
yeah,
Do you know that she's
yep,
Jim
yep,
Carrey?
yep,
Okay, okay. Have you seen Quiet Place?
yep, of course.
It's perfect. It's amazing. Like it's so obvious that they are like a real life
Mhm,
couple,
mhm.
and like how their passion about like each other and the industry is shown in the movie. It's I don't know. I love it. And spoiler alert for the first Quiet Place, when he dies in the first movie.
Can we not talk about that?
I was in the cinema and I swear to God, like tears were dropping.
Oh, that reminded me another movie that like really made me cry
Yeah,
was La La Land.
yeah, I love La La Land. I hated it for the first time that I've seen it, by the way.
You've seen it twice,
Three times by
three
now.
times.
Yeah, I've seen it once Paradiso, once when it dropped out. Is it three or four times? I don't know. So it's either three or four. So the first time I've seen it, it's all Martin Scorsese's fault. Like he made this movie Silence.
Mhm.
It's probably the movie that I hate the most. Yeah. So he made this movie Silence about like two Christian priests trying
Mhm.
to convert others to Christianity. I don't know, it was so boring and so slow. And I had to watch La La Land afterwards because, like, at the time, my dad only allowed us to use our phones and computers for the
Mhm.
weekend because he wanted us to keep studying. So I have to watch all the movies on my yeah, I have to watch all the movies I want to watch before the Oscars on that weekend. So I had like 8 or 9 movies that I had to watch
Mhm.
in 2 or 3 days. So I finished Silence and I started La La Land, and I was so depressed at the time. I didn't get anything, I didn't enjoy the experience, and everyone was talking about how great it is. I
La La
said, like,
Land.
it's just a movie that everyone likes and I hate.
Mhm.
But then, do you know what he's called? Amar Jarrab, the one on YouTube. He does like these experiences about when he tries stuff.
Mhm.
المهم, he played like this remake of La La Land song on his channel. I said like that's so beautiful. Like why haven't I
Yeah.
revisited that in what a year now or something? So I sit down, I rewatch La La Land for a second time, and I fucking loved it. I fell for it for every second. The songs,
It's just the ending. The
yeah,
ending.
the ending is perfect. I
It's
love the
it's
ending.
not perfect.
Yeah, what is it?
Hmm?
What is it? Is it not like? Is
It's
it bad?
very sad.
Yeah, that's why it's perfect, realistic. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we have to wrap this thing up. First of all, I should thank Kashkul for having us here. They've been such a great place to record this episode. Thank you, Kashkul. Thank you, Mr. Andrew,
Thank you.
for having us here. The place is amazing. And yeah, secondly, thank you, Lina, for being here.
I I would like to thank you for keeping up with me.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah,
I know that we had
it's
a more difficult time trying to set everything up and
it's okay. It's okay.
try to
It's
get on
really a
track.
pleasure having you here, and thanks for taking the time and classes and everything to put this on your schedule. It's really appreciated.
Thank you.
Thanks for our moderator Zaid for listening to what we said and editing the episodes. We love you, man. And yeah, thanks to everyone who's listening up to this point. And yeah, love you all. Have a great day and bye bye.
Bye bye.